Hey everyone, welcome back. I have the Onexplayer Super X on hand. It's the 395 device. This is a 128 gig unit. It's a loaner unit, so I have it for just a limited amount of time. I also have a limited library of games that I can test and play on it from their Steam library. So I don't want to reset the whole device. I don't want to mess with it. It's a prototype unit. The BIOS is unlocked. I don't have a retail version of what the BIOS looks like. So let's go through what I can look at and what I am able to do, and that is compare the Super X to the ASUS Flow Z13. I also have the Frostbay with me, so if you haven't seen it, I do have a setup guide linked in the description below so that you can figure out how to set this up. If you did pick up a liquid-cooled Apex or Super X, any of the testing that I do today will be similar performance for the Apex because they are very comparable devices with the same chip inside. And again, we've got the liquid-cooled Frostbay where it bumps it up to 120 watts instead of 75 watts for the Super X. So we'll see what that performance looks like as well. Let's jump into it. Real quick here, I will show you that we are using the same drivers on both devices, just so you know that there's no funny business here. 25.12.1, 25.12.1. On the left here, I have the Super X. On the right here, I have the Z13. And with the Super X, let me just pull this up. You can see it's at 75 watts and turbo is turned on for the CPU for this benchmark with Time Spy. And then same thing with the Flow Z13, it's on turbo, so it's at its highest limit that it can possibly go to on here. And this is without the liquid cooling right now. This is just a side-by-side. The Flow Z13 did boot a little bit quicker into Time Spy, but not by a lot. We are just a little bit behind on the Super X, but you can see all the metrics at the top and on the side here. Again, this is without the Frostbay, side-by-side, Flow Z13, Super X. You can see the results are very similar. The CPU score did score a little higher on here, but in terms of the graphics, that scored a little higher on here. But overall, for the total, we've got a 10,324 versus 10,332. Really great scores overall on both devices with the 395 chip. So let's check out what the liquid-cooled score is with that boost to 120 watts. Frostbay is now connected. I have it at smart fan curve, it's on soft. And then I also have, again, the overlay still on, turbo is on, and it is set to 120 watts. You can see here with the Frostbay, it is about a 6% performance bump, mostly on the graphics score versus the CPU for this round. So we are getting a bump with the liquid cooling and with the 120 watts. I think with the liquid cooling, the biggest benefit is going to be that long-term gaming session is going to be more stable with that cooling effect across the board, so we won't have any overheating spikes with your games during performance. But again, a 6% bump with this. So let's move over to Cyberpunk 2077. The speakers on this thing are so loud.
Thanks to innovative game wars. officer down, so I guess you're all screwed, because the NCPD will not let that go. Good morning, Night City! Yesterday's body count lottery rounded out to a solid and sturdy 30. 10 out of Haywood, thanks to unabated gang wars. One officer down,
This is definitely louder than the Z13.
because the NCPD will not let that go.
Graphics on both of these are set to 1200p full screen. They're set to high. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the resolution scaling and FSR. I will hit apply at the bottom. And then I'll go over to video here and quickly show you that it is 1200p full screen. All right, let's go ahead and run the benchmarks. And again, this is the Z13, and then we have the Super X. This one is tied into the liquid cooling Frost Bay, running at the 120 watts. And then I'll flip it back over and we'll see out the Frost Bay. Now, side by side, we can see that there's quite a bit of difference. We're at 88.96 for the overall FPS on here, and then 78.14. So again, having that liquid cooling, having the 120 watts definitely gives you a performance bump with the Super X, and it will with the Apex too. That's why I went on the 1200p settings, high, no FSR, because you can compare that to the Apex, no problem, because that's the same display it has as the 1200p display. No Frost Bay attached, so that's 75 watts. The settings are all exactly the same. I haven't touched anything. We can go ahead and run the benchmark. Without the Frost Bay, we have 82.18 as the average FPS. And again, the Z13, we have 78.14. So with the Frost Bay over the Z13, we have about a 13% uplift in performance. And then again, with the Super X against the Frost Bay, you have about an 8% increase by using the Frost Bay for performance. Let's run a little bit of gameplay. I have CPU boost turned off now, but I mean, really, it's like 1 FPS difference if you use CPU boost off or on with Cyberpunk 2077. So let me just go ahead and run through a little bit of gameplay to give you an idea of what that's gonna be like. There we go. Switch some camera view. Check out the FPS. We're sitting around 61. And the speakers sound really good on here compared to the Flow Z13. Like, they are louder. Not to say that the Flow Z13 speakers don't sound good, they're just not as loud. It's right at the start of the game. I don't really have any guns or anything yet, just some fighting hands. And again, this is no FSR, so this is 1200p, no FSR on high settings, and actual real gameplay. That's going to be it for today. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If it was, make sure you let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care until the next one.